Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for September 23rd, 2014. It's currently 8:30 a.m. and we have a lot to talk about this morning as we have a potential coastal storm developing for Thursday that was not expected yesterday. I'll be honest with you. The disturbance is certainly more robust than what was originally thought, and it will have an impact on the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. But how much of an impact? We'll talk about that now. Currently, we have temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s over the far northern interior, mid to upper 40s over much of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area suburbs, and in the immediate cities and along the coast, basically temperatures are in the lower to mid 50s. We have a rather cool air mass in place with clear skies and winds from the north around north-northwest at around 5 miles per hour. Overall, a very tranquil and a little bit cool Tuesday morning. Not too bad, but a little bit below normal for this time of year. Today we can expect clear skies and temperatures rebounding into the mid to upper 60s throughout much of the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, which will be below normal for this time of year. We should be around 74 degrees, but instead going to basically be anywhere from 67 to 70 degrees for today, especially along the coast. Now, on the surface map, you can see this high pressure system locked in over the Ohio River Valley. And then we have this developing area low pressure down here around the eastern Gulf of Mexico. This low pressure system is developing due to a disturbance that's diving south and cutting off from the main polar jet stream. And it's interacting with what's called a subtropical jet stream that's off of the east coast. And I'll show this very clearly on the water vapor satellite picture. All the pieces are coming together for the potential for a moderate to heavy rainfall threat for Thursday morning. This high pressure system will remain in control over the next 48 hours, and then we'll watch the evolution of this low pressure system here and this low pesky disturbance out here around the eastern Rockies. On the latest radar, you can see all that rainfall starting to bubble up and really develop very nicely right along the immediate coastal plain and over the coastal waters of South Carolina and now North Carolina. So clearly we have plenty of moisture to work with here right along the east coast, especially along the southeast coast. So the question is just how much of this rainfall actually invades the coastal plain and pushes northward into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. On the infrared satellite picture, one thing we're clearly noticing is an increase in lifting right along the east coast, especially right along the Carolinas. First, I want to make this absolutely clear. This is in no way, shape, or form tropical. This is purely a cold core, low pressure system, non-tropical in nature, that is developing along a thermal gradient that is set up from the Gulf Stream to the coastal plain of North and South Carolina. So this natural thermal gradient is being enhanced by disturbances associated with the subtropical jet stream and the polar disturbance, which is starting to show up rather nicely here. But then, notice to the west, we have a disturbance approaching that is moving through the Rockies into the plains, and this disturbance will play a key factor and key role in the eventual track of this low pressure system developing over the southeastern coastal waters. So when we take a look at the water vapor satellite picture, very interesting evolution. First of all, there is no blocking at all in the northern Atlantic. This is what's called a positive NAO pattern. So anything that develops is going to quickly move north and northeast and typically do not hug the coast. However, we have this disturbance right here that we're keeping an eye on, because how it interacts with this disturbance that is clearly intensifying off the southeast coast will be key in determining just how far west that rainfall gets. All the while, we have this powerful storm developing in the Gulf of Alaska with this jet stream plowing right into the west coast. So what we're having here is a bit of a pattern change. We're going from a trough in the east to more of a zonal pattern. And sometimes when you get a pattern change, especially with a positive NAO pattern, you sometimes could get conditions setting up just right to support a coastal storm along the east coast. Now, When I say just right, I mean every aspect of this forecast has got to work out just right in order to support a widespread heavy rainfall event. And I'm kind of staying away from that idea. I think the focus of the heaviest rainfall is going to be right along the coast, right along central and southern New Jersey, off towards central to eastern Long Island, maybe southeastern Connecticut. And then as you work further north and west towards the Delaware River and on westward, the rainfall becomes more scattered in nature. So the heaviest rainfall, potentially over an inch of rain, would likely be focused over coastal New Jersey and eastern Long Island. Because while this disturbance is clearly going to develop and lift northward with plenty of moisture, and this disturbance will keep it just close enough to the coast to produce rainfall throughout the region, the whole pattern as a whole is becoming progressive. So this low pressure system most likely will come up north and then get kicked out right into the Atlantic. The question now is just when does it get kicked out? And that is the whole key to this forecast moving forward for Thursday morning. So we're going to use the GFS model guidance for today, kind of give a better illustration of what we're dealing with here. So currently we have this low pressure system cutting off from the polar jet stream, a nice little upper level low developing, and we have a coastal low that's trying to develop as a result. Meanwhile, we have high pressure locked in over the northern mid-Atlantic. So for today and for tomorrow, tranquil conditions can be expected. Winds will start to veer from the northwest to the northeast and pick up to around 5 to 15 miles per hour by tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures again today will range in the mid to upper 60s. Low temperatures tomorrow in the upper 40s to lower 50s, mid 40s over the interior. High temperatures tomorrow, lower to mid 70s for highs, pretty much near normal for this time of year. So now here we have Wednesday afternoon. We have one disturbance associated with the polar jet stream, and we have our cutoff disturbance here. So what's going to happen is that these two disturbances are going to interact a little bit. Not a full phase, but just a little bit of interaction to pull this low pressure system just enough west to bring rainfall into the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Now, where I differ with the GFS and some of the other models is just how far west this low pressure system gets. I like the idea of this low pressure system being about 50 miles off the New Jersey coast by the time we get to Thursday morning. So by the time we get to Thursday morning, here's the low pressure system on the models. I think it's going to be more like out here. And the difference of that is going to be key because I think that the heaviest rainfall as a result will be focused right along the coast. And although we'll get periods of rain over portions of eastern Pennsylvania, up through the interior and over all of the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area, I think the heaviest rainfall and the best lifting will be focused along the coast. So up to a half an inch over, let's say, northeastern Pennsylvania, well, really much of eastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, up through the Hudson River Valley and over much of Connecticut. An inch and a half will be possible of rain over the western suburbs of New York City and New York City itself, southern portions of Connecticut, southwestern New Jersey, and then where it gets interesting is where we can go over 2 inches of rain right along the New Jersey coast up through eastern Long Island. If we get some of these heavy bands to rotate in from the Atlantic with this developing low pressure system. And the timing and position of this low pressure system is still rather tricky. There's a lot of volatility in this forecast, but the general rule here is the closer you are to the coast, the more likely you'll see heavy rain on Thursday morning. And because of the progressive nature of this weather pattern, this low pressure system simply will not be able to stick around. So it comes in early Thursday morning, let's say around 2 a.m., and continues on through about 3 p.m. in the afternoon on Thursday afternoon, and then clears out by the evening. So Thursday is going to be a rather wet, raw day. I'm looking at low temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s, high temperatures pretty much only in the lower to mid 60s throughout the region, with a nice northeasterly wind around 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting over 30 miles per hour at times along the immediate coast, and some minor coastal flooding is possible with this low pressure system. It quickly moves out, and high pressure takes control for the rest of the week into the weekend and into early next week. Now, again, Position of the high pressure system is key in determining what type of temperatures we can expect. I'm still like the idea of keeping temperatures below 80 degrees. So for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I'm looking at clear skies to scattered cloud cover, low temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s over the interior, lower to mid 50s along the coast, high temperatures in the lower to mid 70s right along the immediate coast, mid to upper 70s everywhere else, running slightly above normal for this time of year by the time we get to this weekend, with temperatures basically ranging anywhere from 75 to 77 degrees. We should be around 74. So not a huge warm up in any way, shape, or form, just slightly above normal for this time of year. And then that pattern quickly gives way. And I'm going to keep an eye on this low pressure system here, not for precipitation impacts, but more of an stronger influence of more of an easterly wind along the coast on Sunday and Monday. This is why I'm staying away from this whole 80, 81, 82 degree temperature range at this time, because we have way too many disturbances kind of bubbling up over here over the coastal waters, and you have high pressure to the north, and that typically leads to a more of an easterly influence, which means a more of a northern Atlantic influence to your temperatures than one would suggest via the model guidance. So it's something to definitely got to keep an eye on. That is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen D. Martino. Follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay safe out there.